Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to this session of the Executive Focus podcast. I'm your host, Adil Aziz. I'm CEO at Arithmetic Solutions. Arithmetic Solutions is a specialist search firm working in leadership hiring in the media and communications, technology, retail, and semiconductor electronics domains. So, in this podcast, we'll be speaking about how COVID-19 has affected the way businesses are being conducted. More specifically, we'll be speaking about how it has affected the marketing function. The guest that we are having on today's show is Manu Das. He is Associate Vice President of Marketing at Bonito Designs. Bonito Designs is an interior design firm established in 2012. Most recently, they have won the Times Business Award for the Best Interior Design Brand in 2020. I would next like to introduce Manu Das. Manu is a marketing leader with a crazy passion for building brands. So he did his MBA from MICA in 2012. Post that, he worked in brief stints with Diageo and in Novel. Then he moved to Kuwait and he worked as a regional marketing manager at MH Alshaya for around 6 years. MH Alshaya is a leading international brand franchise operator. Along with this, he was also handling a brand called Asha's, which is actually the restaurant chain of the famed Indian singer Asha Bhosle. Post that, he joined as the AVP of marketing in Bonito Design. On behalf of my team, our viewers, I want to warmly welcome you to this session of the Executive Focus podcast. We are just absolutely thrilled to have you here on our show as a guest.
Thank you so much, Adil. First of all, for the wonderful introduction. I'm truly humbled and for inviting me for the Executive Focus podcast. It's truly a pleasure to be part of this series. I hope I can live up to the expectation that you've set for me. Yeah, I'm more than happy to be here. Yeah.
There is absolutely no one in the world that has not been affected by this pandemic. Businesses, enterprise level, mid-size, startups, the rich, the poor, cross-function, cross-domain, everyone has been affected by this pandemic. So, so this is also affected all the functions that come as part of branding and business too. In this case, marketing. What does the new normal look like for you? In terms of business wise, as well as how you run your team.
I think this is the new normal is the buzzword for everyone right now. So I think in March, when the pandemic struck, every business is probably looking at building their annual business plans and stuff like that. And normally, when you do that, you don't expect the macroeconomic conditions to change. And the pandemic came and it threw everything, everyone off track and put everything on the back burner. Basic things were put on hold in end of March, April, when the pandemic struck. And as business leaders, suddenly you're supposed to pivot, come up with new solutions, and see how you can, there's a lot of trial and error also which happens to see how you can steer the ship, right? The pandemic has kind of accelerated that for everyone. It's acted as a catalyst, and you're forced to adapt to survive. And because we are in the MSME space and a growing startup, month on month you have certain revenue targets which is expected of you, etc. And with the initial challenges, we have been able to get past those hurdles and move forward. So that's the positive side. And like you said, every business across the globe, had to adapt in one way or the other. And it's become the new normal now, right? The CEO of Microsoft, Satya Nadella, said they've been able to achieve 2 years of digital transformation in 2 months, and that is a new normal. Imagine who would have thought.
So we have seen traditional businesses adopt marketing and or view marketing as a with so much of importance now. So there is a rapid level of adoption that is happening in traditional companies, taking up marketing. So they are now really concerned regarding how they appear online, how their online signature is, how they are presented on social media, because essentially the entire process of the business that is buying and selling has overnight transferred from offline to online, right? So that is the level of change that we are seeing right now. So in these changed circumstances, so how do you think the marketing function has evolved during the times of this pandemic?
So, from a pandemic point of view, I think marketing as a function has, evolved quite rapidly. Predominantly, especially the startups, MSMEs used to look at sales as the primary driver for the business to bring in revenue, right? Except the big companies who used to look at marketing as an engine, they are the other industries used to look at as as a cost center. They're just spending money to get people in. And for example, when something like a pandemic hits, or when going gets tough, the first thing they do is cut your marketing budgets, right? But in this scenario, even with limited budgets, because you're trying to drive in revenue, marketing has come to the forefront because you have to go and reach out to the customer where they are, right? Before, sales used to tools like cold calling, etc. All of these are completely dismissed in such times because they're not being empathetic of the customer's current situation, right? A pandemic is a really difficult situation for everyone. So that is where marketing plays a vital role. If someone has a requirement, it becomes a non-intrusive way to reach out to the customer. And because during the pandemic, everyone is on the digital platform, and that's the fundamental change. I think from a marketing spend perspective, tremendous change has happened in the landscape to move the budget towards digital. Digital has always been a growing spree in the last 5-6 years, but during the pandemic, there's been a massive shift. You wouldn't want to go with your normal traditional media like newspapers, radio, etc. Currently, because a lot of people, because of the hygiene issues or the safety issues, are not even subscribing to newspapers. Radio, like I said, most of the people used to listen to radio while commuting to work. So the listenership, readership, etc. has been affected, and the core of marketing is consumer behavior, and where the customer is, you want to try and reach out to them there, and provide them a solution to a pain point, right? So that people are starting to recognize in a much better manner right now. It has become a necessity now, where, like I said, a lot of things which they had pushed for later, it's become a catalyst and accelerated it. And marketing as a function has been reached out to get to the customer, try and see if they're interested, and then try and convert them for sales, or provide convert them into a sales qualified lead for the sales team to reach out, and so that the business is able to grow. And like you clearly said, social media has become the forefront of for people to for businesses to reach out to customers and tell them they exist. Their content creation, for example, has gone a dramatic shift during this time. People are using their iPhones to even shoot ads. You can't go out and make ads, right? So marketing has undergone a dramatic transformation like that. iPhone is all that is required. You don't need expensive shoot equipment to go and shoot. People are able to uh, people are able to come out with really really creative stuff, being in the lockdown as well. So all that has really propelled the marketing industry to focus on customers in a much better manner. That's the fundamental shift.
How do you think the use of advanced tools like Martech tools and tools to improve your marketing efficiency? Do you think that is absolutely necessary at this time for companies?
Martech tools are basically marketing technology tools. So they are basically used for four things. One is basically where you're trying to, in the current scenario, social media. You have so many channels, right? You have Instagram, Twitter. So how do you? So if you're going to manage all these 7 channels, it becomes difficult to go out to each of them and manage. So you want to get it into one space. So you have tools like Hootsuite. So many of the tools are there. So that's one use of marketing. Other thing is you have these, especially in the current scenario with work from home. How do you have all your team working remotely? So how do you ensure the same productivity, etc.? And you have platforms like Slack, Asana, where the whole team can get together, align works, and check up your productivity. That's one second use of marketing. Third thing is basically your CRM tools, where you have so much of customer data now, people inquiring, etc. Over a period of months and years, that becomes a massive repository. So you want to look at that data and derive insights, and how can you improve efficiencies to target people better. So you have CRM tools like Salesforce, Lead Square, etc., etc., etc. Then the fourth thing is basically where you have analytics tools, and they call CRO tools because of conversion reach optimization tools basically. So like your Google Analytics, how many people come to your website, how much time are they staying, are they bouncing off, etc., etc. So there are a lot of metrics which you can get through these marketing tools. So just to give an insight, in I think it started in 2011, 10, 11 when Martech tools started hitting the market. You had around 250 tools in the market, but by end of 2019, you had around 7,400 tools. So that is the rate at which these tools have grown, right? And as marketers, it is become uh, mandatory to have these tools. Without the right kind of tools, you cannot navigate properly. There's so much of data out there, and to make sense of data is very, very important, right? And that's how you optimize for higher efficiencies as well. So as business leaders, you have to identify what are the matrices that are valuable to the business, and how can you measure them, and once you measure them, what is to be done to go forward or go backward, and you'll have activities done, and then on a month on month or a week on week basis, you can see if the business is moving forward. It's simple. It's not rocket science. It's very simple, and these tools basically help you achieve those. And especially during such times, even the smaller businesses, they are looking at these to improve efficiencies. Like I said, if you have you're trying to be all over social media. So how do you get that in one place? Or even if someone is talking about you in some other forum, you have social listening tools, etc. If someone is talking about Bonito designs on a completely different platform, unless I am on that platform, I will not even know. But these tools will search for those keywords and get me information. And if it's a good thing, then I can publish it. If it's a negative thing, I can try to revive the customer. So the applications of these market tools are invaluable. There are so many use cases, and like I said, for every use case, there's a new market tool in the market also now. And it's absolutely important. Is what I feel.
I see. Okay. So it could be slightly challenging for a marketer, right? In order to understand, to filter out from all this information, which information is actually relevant to your brand for the brand growth. So how do you go about it?
I think every single business will have these kind of challenges on a day-to-day basis, right? It's as a business, what is of top priority to us? What are the matrices we need to look at? I think instead of trying to improve everything, simultaneously at the same time, you'll have to identify these are the priority matrices for me as a business currently. For our business, you'll probably look at the number of people you've reached in terms of if you're putting up an ad on Facebook, how many people have you reached, how many people saw it, and what is the conversion rate, how many people clicked on your ad. These are matrices which we measure on a day-to-day basis. And like I said, across industries, it'll vary depending on the priority, but you will have to, it is of paramount importance to understand at least 3 to 5 of those matrices which you want to measure, and then track them on a week basis, and see if you're seeing a progression or a decline basically. And then pivot or change accordingly.
That is a big challenge. Even though you have a lot of tools, you have to be really focused regarding what matrices you have to be cognizant of while you're actually making use of
True.
it. So yeah.
True, definitely.
So regarding your business, see, Bonito is a pure consumer facing business, right? So I'm really interested to understand, how because of lockdown and because of the pandemic, how has the consumer behavior changed during this time?
I think consumer behavior has undergone a massive change over the last 6 to 8 months when we look back. So from our business, it used to be interior design is a very visual medium, right? There's a lot of tangible aspects as well, like you want to feel the texture of the the finish, the right color of shade of paint, etc. for your dream home. So we used to be a 90% of the customers used to visit our experience center, and 10% used to we had a online model before as well. So 10% used to engage with us online through online meetings basically. During the pandemic, that completely switched. It became 90% online and 10% DC. And
Yes.
right now, you're seeing a shift. It's coming to like a 70-30, 60-40. You're seeing because with things opening up, more and more people are coming to the EC. But still, a lot of communication, etc., has to be driven in terms of safety at workplaces. You're ensuring all the parameters are met. Another interesting thing which changed is before you used to see almost all your business over the weekends. Bangalore, the traffic is infamous. People find it difficult to come to meet you during weekdays. So weekend is when the husband and the wife and the children, all of them come together to meet a designer, right? So with the pandemic, everyone is at home 7 days a week, especially during the lockdown. So it became much easier, and especially even with larger families with grandparents as well. And this interior design is a very collective process. You want inputs from everyone in the house, everyone who's staying in the house, so that you can design it to their needs and requirements, right? So with the pandemic, because everyone is at home, we've seen a lot of traction on the weekdays, and you don't have to delay the process. So design, which is the most important part of the process, can happen any day of the week, and you can quickly capture inputs from all the members of the family. So that is something which drastically changed, which happened over the weekend. And then again, you might have to had done it in parts, like grandpa is not able to come now, then the first the family comes, then the second, the third. All that becomes null and void right now. In one go you can get the whole details. Then a lot of these topical kind of changes, right? People with work from home, you're supposed to in a family, if it's a family of husband, wife, and 2 children, let's assume that case, both the children will have online classes right now. The husband and the wife, if they're working, they have work from home, Zoom calls and Google Meets happening. It is a chaotic environment at the home. So so a lot of requirements are coming in terms of noise cancellation. How do you have, or how do you come up with work from home solutions for your home? These are things which people might not even have considered before while designing a home. Right now, if it's a 3 BHK, probably the third room is like a home office now. And like you said, the noise cancellation kind of things also come into play. Then even you have these ergonomic solutions, right? You want the chair is right, so that the posture is not hindered, because you're going to be working from there for a long period of time. So those kind of effects of interior designing are you're able to communicate it better during this time, and people are able to relate to it better right now. And I think some of the trends also show that the number of home tour videos that people have seen during lockdown on YouTube, for example, it's gone up at least threefolds. People are looking for solutions, quick solutions, even themselves, because if it's a new home and all, they've already done the interiors, but still they need these solutions to improve their, home. Home improvements are required basically. So the texture thing, even when people on lockdowns, we used to send the catalogs via Dunzo/Swiggy to the customer so they can get the touch and feel, because some
Right.
things you still need to, because you're investing time in your dream home, right? So a lot of changes like that, interesting changes as well. It is still evolving. You're seeing new shades to the behavior on a daily basis, and we are monitoring that and trying to come up with solutions based on that.
That's really interesting what you shared with us regarding how, because shopping itself has undergone a sea change during this past few months, right? Earlier, there were a lot of customers. For example, we can say our older generation, they were not really interested in actually ordering furniture online and actually doing, right. So that change, that's just amazing, the amount of change that has happened,
I think
and
you
how
hit the nail on the head with that one. I was finding it very difficult to get my parents to do online shopping. Now my mom orders
exactly.
grocery online, so that's drastic shift. And I think one another trend which is interesting about revenge buying, which is especially with luxury brands like on this, when the new iPhone came out, people were going on the streets to stand in queues to buy them because they've not spent for a longer period of time. They just wanted to get hold of these luxury
Correct.
items.
Yeah.
I don't think the Indian market is going to go to that level because we have a fundamental saving mentality. But still, I think
Exactly.
you will see a lot more shopping
There
going
could be
forward.
certain pockets wherein consumers do exhibit this kind of behavior, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah, true, true.
The changes that are happening, throughout the world, we cannot expect everything is going to go back to how it was earlier, right? So I guess all of us have to make peace with what is actually current and how it's going to move forward in the few years. So there is from your perspective, when we go back to normal, or whatever the new normal is going to be like, how much of these changes do you think are going to be permanent versus how much of these changes do you think are going to be temporary? What do you foresee in the future?
Interesting question. I honestly believe that we are going to go into a hybrid kind of model going forward, where a larger portion of what is happening currently in terms of digital transformation, etc., is here to stay, which is good, right? So you're getting people across different segments to buy online. Digital transformation, like I said, is the buzzword, and it's here to stay, and everyone is, kind of uh, trying to get hold of people online. I think those kind of things are here to stay. Online shopping, you're even across industries. Like if you're looking at health, for example, people still try to book their medical appointments online. People are talking to online doctors. Those kind of things will definitely stay. But I think online education will see a massive growth as well. But certain industries will still need the old world, if I can refer to it as now the old world kind of experiences, like experiential, any experiential industry, a service industry like sports. You would want to watch a match. Movies, you would want to go see it in the theater. uh, Food, you would want to go, you'll have delivery, online home delivery, etc. But there will be situations where you'll want to go and enjoy a good meal, in a restaurant or with friends, right? Those,
Mm.
so, or even other industries, like for example, the spa, it's an experience, right? There's a limit to which you can experience it at home. So
Experience
the
something.
all the service industries, I honestly believe that they'll continue to exist. And even with some of the other traditional industry, I mean, even with shopping or retail, for example, I see a lot of them translating to the online, from the brick and mortar to the online. But I don't see the brick and mortar going away. I think they will continue to coexist. And you have, in terms of trends, you have a lot of other technologies which are coming up with a rapid speed. Like for example, growth in terms of augmented reality, virtual reality, etc., where people are able to get a vicarious experience of these, right, being at home. So they will propel a lot more shopping online, etc. But uh, I personally believe that it might be there'll be a good portion who will experience it online and buy it, but there'll be a good portion who will experience online and then come back and buy it from the brick and mortar as well. So
Okay.
it's going to be a mix of both the worlds, is how I see, at least for near future. But you never know, right? Everything
That's
could
true.
be, yeah. So
I also personally don't see a future wherein everything is going to be online, at least not in the near future, because
yeah.
there are certain things, as you rightly mentioned, that needs to actually be experienced. For example, for a movie like Bahubali, you can never experience it on OTT platform like you are experiencing it in a theater, right?
Something you brought about OTT, in terms of initial trends, right? Touch upon that. So, for example, Disney Hotstar has been able to achieve in 5 months what took Netflix 7 years to achieve. People are moving
Oh,
away from cable connections to OTT platforms and stuff like that. So it is a massive, massive change. And even previously mentioned about macroeconomic situations, right? Another interesting trend which is happening is TikTok was the place to go for short videos. And when the India-China standoff happened, then TikTok got banned in India. Suddenly, the other platforms started adapting, coming up with new solutions. Like Instagram came with Reel, Twitter came with something else. So you wanted to look at video formats. So those kind of trends are also going to continue, and video is definitely going to be the key driver for all marketing communication, because the ease with which it is to shoot a video on your phone now makes it very very easy for anyone, empowers anyone on the whole planet to shoot a video and put it up on YouTube slash all these platforms, right? So those are also trends which will continue. So content is going to be king.
Yeah, so that's a really, really interesting point, Manu. Like the India-China standoff resulting in, who would have thought, right? The banning of TikTok has resulted in changes happening in Instagram, in LinkedIn also, right? LinkedIn stories and
Yeah,
Twitter.
yeah, stories,
Right?
yeah,
So
true.
it's as if, who would have thought, a geopolitical event happening in between India and China would result in some kind of
True,
innovation that
definitely.
is going to affect the marketing function as such. So that just shows how small and connected our
Definitely.
world, right? And thank you so much for taking time out and being part of our podcast. And really great points that you have mentioned over here. Thank you so much.